In the heart of a bustling city stood a quaint little bookstore known to everyone as the Enchanted Page. This charming haven, nestled between towering skyscrapers, has been a silent observer of life's myriad tales for decades on end. Its time-worn walls, fragrant with the scent of aged paper and ink, have cradled countless stories. Now let's turn our attention to the heartbeat of this sanctuary of words, Mr. Sullivan. An elderly man of profound wisdom and quiet demeanor, Mr. Sullivan has been the guardian of the Enchanted Page for as long as anyone can remember. His presence is as integral to the bookstore as the myriad books that it houses. He is a living testament to the tales untold, stories read, and worlds discovered within the welcoming embrace of this special place. Little did anyone know the Enchanted Page was more than just a bookstore. Mr. Sullivan had a secret as fascinating as it was unbelievable. This was no ordinary secret. It was a secret that held the power to transform the mundane into the magical. Mr. Sullivan, the gentle, gray-haired proprietor of a small bookstore in the heart of the city, had a gift. He had the ability to bring stories to life. The discovery of this secret was as accidental as it was extraordinary. One evening, while reading a tale of dragons and knights to a group of children, he noticed the room filling with a faint warmth. He glanced around, and to his astonishment, saw the shadows of dragons dancing on the walls, and the faint clinking of knights' armor echoing in the room. The children gasped, their eyes wide with wonder. Ever since, Mr. Sullivan has used his enchanting ability to breathe life into stories. His bookstore became more than a place to buy books. It became a place where adventures were lived, where magic was real, and where every tale read was a journey embarked upon. Children would flock to his store, their eyes sparkling with anticipation. They would sit around Mr. Sullivan, their hearts beating in sync with the rhythm of his storytelling, as they journeyed through enchanted forests, sailed across treacherous seas, and flew with mystical creatures. In Mr. Sullivan's bookstore, stories were not just read, they were experienced. Among the many visitors of the bookstore, there was one special little girl named Lily. Lily was not your average child. She was a beacon of curiosity, a voracious reader, and a regular visitor to Mr. Sullivan's bookstore. The old man's eyes would always light up when he saw Lily trotting through the door, her small fingers itching to trace the spines of the books that lined the shelves. Over time, a bond started developing between the two. Mr. Sullivan, the stern-faced and taciturn owner of the bookstore, had a soft spot for Lily. He admired her thirst for knowledge and shared her love for stories. Every day, he'd set aside a special book, one that he thought would stoke the fires of her imagination. And every day, Lily would devour it, returning the next day for more. But the friendship between Lily and Mr. Sullivan was not just about books. It was about shared secrets, too. You see, Mr. Sullivan had a secret, a tale of his own that he had never shared with anyone. But Lily, with her inquisitive eyes and the trust he saw in them, became the first to know. She promised to keep it, and she did. This secret, like a hidden chapter in a book, only strengthened their bond. They spent countless hours discussing stories, debating about characters, dissecting plots. Mr. Sullivan, with his decades of wisdom and experience, and Lily, with her refreshing perspective and innocent insights, found in each other a unique camaraderie. They were an odd pair, a septuagenarian and a schoolgirl, but their friendship was as beautiful as it was unexpected. It was a friendship forged in the heart of a bookstore, amidst the smell of old paper and the quiet rustle of turning pages. They found solace in each other's company, a respite from the world outside. The bookstore was their sanctuary, a place where they could let their imaginations run wild and free. In the midst of books and stories, a beautiful friendship blossomed between Lily and Mr. Sullivan. One day, Lily picked out a story, a tale of a lost kingdom and a brave princess. With book in hand, she raced to her favorite corner of the bookstore, where Mr. Sullivan, the kind-hearted owner, was waiting. Mr. Sullivan had a magical gift. His voice could spin words into life, making the characters leap from the pages and dance before your very eyes. As Lily nestled into the soft cushions, Mr. Sullivan began to read. The story unfurled like a grand tapestry, vivid and breathtaking. The brave princess was on a daring quest to reclaim her lost kingdom from a fearsome dragon. She journeyed through enchanted forests, across treacherous mountains, and into the very heart of darkness. With every word from Mr. Sullivan, Lily became more than a mere listener. She was there, alongside the princess, feeling the same determination and courage. She could almost feel the cool moss under her feet, hear the whispering wind in the trees, and see the glint in the dragon's eye. The world of the story was as real as the bookstore around her. She battled alongside the princess, her heart pounding with excitement. She felt the heat of the dragon's breath, the weight of the sword in her hand, and the surge of triumph as they emerged victorious. The story was more than words on a page. It was an experience, a journey. It was fear and bravery, despair and hope, all wrapped up in the comforting embrace of Mr. Sullivan's voice. It was an adventure that Lily could touch, feel, and live. The princess reclaimed her kingdom, the dragon was vanquished, and peace was restored. Mr. Sullivan closed the book, his voice fading into the quiet hum of the bookstore. But the story did not end there. It lived on, vibrant and alive, in Lily's heart. As the story ended, Lily found herself back in the bookstore, her heart full of adventure and eyes sparkling with joy. The story had come to life, and so had Lily. She had lived 1,000 lives in those moments, and she yearned for 1,000 more. In the enchanted page, stories were not just tales, they were journeys. These journeys were not just for the characters within the pages, but for Lily, the other customers, and even Mr. Sullivan himself. The stories had an uncanny power, a way of reaching out from the pages and touching the hearts of those who dared to explore them. Each chapter, each paragraph, each sentence was a step further into an adventure, a deeper understanding, a new perspective. For Lily, a regular at the enchanted page, the stories were her escape. They transported her from her daily life into worlds of magic, mystery, and wonder. Each book was a new adventure, a new chance to experience something beyond the confines of her small town. The tales made her laugh, made her cry, made her think. They filled her with a sense of awe and a hunger for more. They sparked her imagination, lit her creativity, and nurtured her dreams. The other customers found their own connections to the stories. Some sought solace in the pages, finding comfort and understanding in the characters' struggles and triumphs. Others found inspiration, their minds ignited by the tales of heroes and heroines, villains and victors. Each person found a piece of themselves in the pages, a reflection of their own desires, fears, hopes, and dreams. And then there was Mr. Sullivan, the keeper of the enchanted page. He had seen the power of stories firsthand, had watched as they transformed the lives of those who dared to dive into their depths. He had seen the light in Lily's eyes as she explored new worlds, had seen the comfort that others found in their pages. He had felt the magic himself, had been swept away by the tales of love and loss, of triumph and tragedy. The themes that ran through the pages of every book, the power of imagination, the joy of reading, the magic of stories, were not just ideas. They were living, breathing entities that seeped into the hearts of those who dared to open their minds to them. They were reminders that life was an ongoing story, a never-ending journey of discovery and growth. In a world full of realities, the enchanted page was a doorway to endless possibilities, all bound within the pages of a book.
Have you ever wondered how the smallest act of kindness can transform lives in unimaginable ways? Picture, if you will, a quaint little town where the sun rises to the melody of chirping birds, where the air is filled with the scent of freshly brewed coffee from the local cafe, where laughter and chatter echo from every corner. Here, in this small town, everyone knows everyone, like a tightly knit tapestry of lives, interwoven with threads of shared memories and experiences. In the heart of this town lives an old man, a figure as familiar as the town's cobblestone paths, a man who, with his age-worn hands and heart full of warmth, has become a beacon of generosity. He doesn't live in a grand mansion, nor does he own a shiny car. His means are modest, his life simple. Yet he is a man who never hesitates to extend a helping hand, who finds joy in the joy of others. Every morning, he greets the day with a smile, ready to lend an ear to a friend in need, to share a meal with a stranger, or to offer his time to anyone who needs it. His generosity is not measured in grand gestures or extravagant gifts, but in the small acts of kindness that often go unnoticed. A warm smile to a passerby, a comforting word to a troubled soul, a cup of tea shared with a lonely heart. His actions, as simple as they may seem, have a ripple effect, creating a cascade of kindness that spreads throughout the town. He is living proof that generosity is not about the size of one's wallet, but the size of one's heart. He shows us that kindness, no matter how small, has the power to touch lives, to bring a ray of sunshine into someone's gloomy day, to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. In a world where everyone was busy accumulating wealth, our old man found richness in giving. Life, with its unpredictable twists and turns, had a different plan for our old man. As the seasons changed, so did his health. His body, once sturdy and robust, began to betray him. His strength waned, his steps faltered, and he found himself confined to the four walls of his humble abode. The old man, a tower of resilience, was now grappling with the harsh reality of his deteriorating health. The work that once seemed effortless now became an uphill battle. His days of laboring under the sun, his hands shaping the world around him, were now a distant memory. He was unable to work, and his savings, the fruit of years of hard work, began to dwindle. Despite his condition, the old man's spirit remained unbroken. He continued to extend his hand to those in need, his heart refusing to let his circumstances dictate his actions. He may not have been able to lift heavy loads or withstand the scorching sun, but he could still offer words of wisdom, a comforting smile, or a listening ear. His generosity was not confined to material possessions. It was a part of his very essence. His money may have been depleting, but his wealth of spirit was unwavering. His body may have been failing, but his heart was stronger than ever. He did not let his illness rob him of his joy or his ability to help others. He understood that kindness and generosity are not just about giving what you have, but also about giving who you are. His actions, though small, had a profound impact. Each word of comfort, each smile, each moment of understanding was a beacon of hope for those around him. He may have been fighting his own battles, but he never let that stop him from being a warrior for others. He taught those around him that generosity is not a measure of what we give, but how we give. Even in his dire circumstances, he never lost his spirit of generosity. How often do we realize that our actions can create ripples, touching lives far beyond our reach? Just imagine a peaceful pond. When a single pebble is thrown into it, the impact generates ripples. They start small, right at the point of contact, but then these ripples expand outwards, reaching far beyond the initial point of disturbance. In much the same way, our actions, like that pebble, have the power to create ripples in the world around us. Now take a moment and think about our old man. His actions, his generosity, were like those pebbles. He didn't have much, but he gave what he could. And his actions, they started a ripple. Those he helped were moved by his kindness. His selfless acts were etched into their hearts, and they remembered. So when the old man found himself in a time of need, those he had once helped came forward. They hadn't forgotten his kindness, his generosity. They hadn't forgotten the way he had changed their lives, and now they wanted to help him. They wanted to pay forward the kindness they had received. And so, the ripple effect of the old man's actions began to reveal itself. The baker, whose business was saved by the old man's timely help, delivered fresh bread to his doorstep every morning. The tailor, who the old man had helped when he was just starting out, mended his worn-out clothes for free. The fisherman, who was once given a fishing rod by the old man, shared his daily catch. The old man's kindness had inspired them. His actions had created a ripple effect that touched their lives, and now they were a part of this ripple, carrying it forward. And that's the beauty of kindness, isn't it? It's contagious. It inspires others to act in kind. creating a ripple effect that can reach far beyond our initial act. A single act of kindness can indeed create waves of change. But can generosity really change the course of one's life? This question becomes more relevant than ever as we delve further into our story. As we've seen, the old man's generosity touched the heart of a community, creating ripples of change that seemingly transformed the town overnight. The old man, once a forgotten recluse, is now the town's cherished gem. His health, once teetering on the brink, has shown remarkable improvement thanks to the aid and care he receives from his fellow townsfolk. The once crumbling house he lived in has been mended and repainted, a vivid symbol of the town's renewed spirit of togetherness. And it's not just the old man's physical health that's improved. His spirit, once weighed down by years of solitude, now shines brighter than ever. He's no longer the solitary figure the town once knew. Instead, he's a beacon of hope, a living testament to the power of generosity. The town itself has undergone a transformation. A sense of unity, of common purpose has taken hold, replacing the indifference that once prevailed. Neighbors now look out for each other, ready to lend a helping hand when needed. A newfound sense of community has been rekindled, and it's all thanks to the old man's generous spirit. The changes are palpable, tangible. The once quiet streets are now filled with laughter and cheerful chatter. The air is filled with a sense of camaraderie, a feeling of shared joy and mutual respect. The old man's generosity has ignited a spark that has set the entire town ablaze with a spirit of giving and compassion. So, to answer our initial question, yes, generosity can indeed change the course of one's life. But more than that, it has the power to transform entire communities. It's a domino effect, a ripple that spreads far and wide, touching countless lives in its wake. Generosity did not just save a life, it transformed an entire community. It's a powerful reminder of the impact one act of kindness can have. It's a testament to the power of generosity, a power that can change lives, and even, as we've seen, entire towns. What can we take away from this heartwarming tale of generosity? This story, rich with moments of compassion and unity, has shown us the transformative power of kindness. It all started with an old man, whose generosity was his guiding principle, his beacon of light. His acts of kindness, though seemingly small, sparked a chain reaction that brought an entire community together. When the tide turned and he found himself in need, the community he had helped so many times before rallied around him. His years of selfless giving had not gone unnoticed. Instead, they had been silently weaving a tapestry of goodwill that enveloped him when he needed it the most. The moral of our story is clear. Generosity is not just about giving. It's about creating a ripple effect that can transform lives and communities. Remember, the seeds of kindness you sow today can bloom into the flowers of change tomorrow.